Hello everyone, welcome. So this is a video where I'm going to explain how to do this color project part 1. Before you listen to the rest of this video, I want to make sure that you've gone on to Canvas and read the assignment first, read it all the way through, and then please look through the lecture. There's going to have visual examples that explain some of the key terms that we're going to be using. And then this is the third part before you begin the project, is I'm going to explain, just kind of break down how we do this project step by step. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to explain how you're going to kind of lay out and draw your color wheel. So we're going to be making 12-step color wheels, and the first thing that I want you to do is you're going to draw a circle the best that you can. Okay, and then you're going to divide your circle into 4. Alright, and since we're going to be making a 12-step color wheel, we want to have 12 pieces of pie, if this were a pie, and how we're going to get there now is we're going to multiply 3 times 4. So we have 4 pieces of pie, and I'm going to add 2 lines to each section, which is going to give me 1, 2, 3 pieces of pie. 1, 2, 3. And I'll do that for the remainder. All right. So now I have a 12-step color wheel. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do, step 1, is we're going to identify our primaries. Our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Okay, so I'm just going to pick a random piece of pie, and I'm going to start there. So the first one I'm going to pick is this one, red, and that's going to be my red piece. Now I'm going to equally space out my primary colors throughout the color wheel. So the next one I'm going to do is yellow, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put yellow here. All right, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to go blue here. And now I have kind of equally spaced pieces of pie. That won't quite make sense yet, but it will in a moment. Okay, the second thing that I'm going to do is add my secondary colors. But before I do that, we're going to talk about tints and shades. So hopefully you've already read this in the assignment and in the lecture, but just as a refresher, tints are any color that you add white to. Shades are any color that you add black to. Okay, so I want you to not only make a color wheel just using your primary colors to make all the other colors, but I also want you to incorporate tints and shades. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an extra circle. Ooh. All right, and I'm going to do it twice. So now we have this main section right here where we're going to put most of our colors, but then in addition, as we move forward, we're also going to add in our tints and shades. So I'm just going to say randomly that I want this kind of middle inner circle to be tints. Okay. And then I'm going to have this outer circle right here be shades. Okay, so I'm working with colored pencils, but you guys are going to be working with paint, acrylic paint. So when you come in, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put a little bit of red acrylic paint right here. Then I have my shades, so I'm going to add a tiny little bit of black to my paint, and I'm going to add it right here, and then I'm going to add a little bit of white. Now, I should be doing this all on a palette separately, so you're mixing all of your colors separately on your palette, and then you're adding them to your color wheel, because it is important to learn what color combinations go together and mix together to make certain colors, but it's also really important to take the time to get those colors. It can take a lot of time. When I used to paint, I would spend like 70% of my time just mixing colors and then 30% actually painting on there. So slow down, realize that you're going to be on your palette a lot. Okay, so I've put my red paint in there, I've put my tint and my shade, and I've done that for all the other primary colors. Okay, so now the second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add my secondaries. Now, my secondaries are a combination of two primaries. So for the first one, I have, when I mix red and yellow together, it makes orange. So orange is going to be my first secondary color, and I'm going to place it sort of directly in between those two primaries. Now, if I mix any these two primaries together, my blue and my yellow, it's going to make green. So green is another secondary, green. All right, and then finally, when I mix red and blue together, it makes purple. All right, purple. All right, so this is going to be kind of the first real mixing challenge that you're going to have. So again, work on your palette. Start with your lightest color, slowly add in your darker color. So if I were mixing orange, I'd pull a little bit of yellow out, and then I'd add a little bit of red to it until I finally got my orange, and then I'd put it on my palette. Right after I do that, I would add a little bit of white to it, then I would add a little bit of black to it, and I'd put them right here. Okay, and I do that with every color, every secondary color that I have. All right, tertiary. So tertiary is kind of a funny word for the name of everything that's left, basically. So, for example, the first example of tertiary I have right here is red, orange. Okay, so basically it's a mixture of the primary and the secondary colors that are right next to it. So you're going to go in between each of these sections, and you're going to add, kind of fade those two colors together, and then add tints and shades. So this one is going to be orange-yellow, and then I have yellow-green right here, and then I have blue-green, and then I have blue-purple, and red-purple. So it's going to be a combination of all of those colors. Okay. And those are our tertiaries. All right, so once you've done that, that's part one of this project. Part two is neutralizing direct complements. So a complementary color is any color that is directly across from one color on the color wheel. So a good example is red and green. So red is over here, directly across from it is green. Blue and orange is another example, and purple and yellow are another example. But basically it's any color. So I could do tertiaries, I could do whatever, but it's whatever color is directly across from it. And what's interesting about complementary colors is that when you place them next to each other, they are their brightest version. And when you mix them together, they become the dullest version of themselves and the dullest color that you'll have on here. So the first one, so if I do red and green, I would put red over here, I put green over here, and then on in the middle, basically, I would mix these together on my palette, and it would come out to like a brown-gray in the middle. It'll take a little bit to get there, but just take your time, and then you want to fade these together. So you'll have a brown-gray in the middle, a green over here, a red over here, and then you're going to kind of slowly create this sort of shift. And you're going to do that twice. So if I picked red-green for the first one, maybe I'll do yellow-purple for the second one. All right, so that concludes kind of the step-by-step breakdown of how we're going to go through this assignment. I'll post a couple more pictures and things if anyone has any questions, but I know you guys are going to do great. I hope you're all well, and please email me if you have any questions. All right, thank you.